Hi guys, this is Matt from Anti-Spam We're going to log into our demo system today just to show you how easy it is to add a client to our control panel. This is a demo system, and if you want to have a play with this, please feel free to give us a call on 0844 887 0000. As you can see now that we're logging into the workspace, this is where you will find your customers' inbound and outbound emails. All we need to do is select the customer domain that's underneath your account, and we have the ability to change the date ranges here on the left hand side. We can either have a predefined date range or we can have a bespoke date range directly from here. Both the from, to, subject lines are all searchable using wildcards if need be. We also have a display filter where we can filter just clean emails, and we also have a preview button. The preview button allows us to see the header information only. Some customers get a little bit worried that we have the ability to read emails. We don't have the ability to read emails. But what's interesting in this header information or this preview button, we do have the SMTP message. As you can see here, SMTP 250, message received by the mail server and accepted. So we can also check to see if there's problems or temporary errors with the mail server by using the control panel in this way. Directly from this workspace, we can manage a black and white list for the customer, as well as admin black and white list for the entire domain. But before we go on to that, let's have a look how easy it is to add a client to the control panel. Underneath the management tab is where we would add the client. Highlight your reseller name at the top here, and then hit the client add button, which has appeared in the bottom left hand corner. We'll add the client's domain. In this case, we'll just put in some test info. It's asking for an email address. Now this could be an on-site admin who has the ability to administer a global black and white list for the domain. But in this case, because it's a test, we'll just put a test email address in. We have the ability to either send a system-generated email or a manually inserted email. We then select the time, GMT, and we tick the activate email filtering. We're given two options. The first option is premium filtering, the second blocking. Blocking is used for ISPs. It's some major ISPs use our services for blocking the majority of blacklisted type spam. In this case, we're looking at premium filtering. A small pop-up message has just told us that if once we've saved this, we can't make any changes to the filtering type. We're then given a small box that says number of users. This is the number of users we're invoicing the customer for, rather than the amount of emails that are in our system, and I'll come on to that in a second. The next box that we have is the IP host name. This can either be a host name or an IP address. In this case, I've just put in the host name here. You can also use our service for outbound relay. We will need an IP address for the outbound relay. We also have a tick box that says bounce management. Now this is if your customer's email address was spoofed or faked by a spammer. This would stop any of the scatterback mail, out of office, email address unrecognized, coming back and flooding your customer's server. We have something called the relay check. Now this is where we will ask your client's mail server if the email address that we're trying to deliver is valid. If the mail server says yes, it's a valid mail address, then we will automatically create a user for that account. Hence the reason why we have the accounting tab here is this is how many we've actually invoiced the customer, and our system will automatically add the users for the accounts there. We also have advanced routing, We can route on users or groups if need be. So for example, if you've got a head office in Manchester and a sales team in London, we could route the sales team's traffic to a different IP address. We can put the spam into quarantine or tag it just as tag as spam. We also have the ability to add an alternative IP address for relay check. So if we're working in a multi-server environment and you wanted to do that relay check at different server, you could put the IP address in here. In January of this year, we introduced the InfoMail. The InfoMail filter is it's an all-encompassing newsletter stroke InfoMail filter, which will block all spam newsletters. You know, if you joined the gym 5 years ago and they're still sending you newsletters, you might not want to receive them, although it's not an unsolicited mail as such. By activating the InfoMail, you will stop all newsletters, but the customer has the ability, from the body of a quarantine report or a daily digest report, has the ability to whitelist and deliver from that from the body of that report. We hit the save button. This is now being saved in our system. This is now live in our system. As you will be able to see underneath this demo reseller here, test24.co.uk is actually live in our system. If we drill down to a granular level now to the actual domain, we can see the information that we've just put into the system. Here we have the customer set up, so if we needed to change the IP host name or the IP address for the outbound relay, we can make those changes here. As you can see, we've got some new tabs that have come up. We're going to come on to talking about archiving very shortly. But just for now, that's how easy it is to set up in our system. The customer is now live. You can change the MX records, and we will start delivering clean traffic to your customer. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the control panel, looking at the control panel, and if you come back to have a look at some of my other videos, we'll talk about the workspace in more detail, also the archiving, continuity and the spam report.